Um, okay, so welcome. I'm really excited to do this. I'm also, like I said on the post, and really open to suggestions from you guys on what you need, what you're looking for in order to crush your 90-day goals and beyond. So one of the things that's really exciting along with this 90-day game plan is that we also have the crystal reset. So there's a reason anyway to get involved. Like if you really have goals to build a business in Isagenix and to, whether it's to earn, an extra $200, $500 a month, or whether it's to make this your full-time residual income, there's always a reason just in that to set goals and to work toward them. But having the crystal reset there, it just gives like that extra incentive because there's all those bonuses that are right there on the table within the next 6 months to be able to really put a lot of motivation behind you and behind your team to get into action. And what the 90-day game plan does really is create habits for the rest of your business. Like Lynn Hagedorn said at NYKO, for those of you who were there and for those of you who weren't, but she said the 90-day game plan isn't just do it for 190 days and then you're done and your business is set. It's actually, we just think in 90-day blocks of time. And so we do it for 90 days, maybe take a week off to breathe and then get on the next 90 days or just do back to back to back. But it's basically learning to set a pace for yourself. It's learning to create habits and consistency, because consistency is where it's at. A lot of it has to do with finding the pace that works for you. So I think sometimes we feel like, okay, it's the brand new year. It's, we just came out of NYKO. We've got the 90-day game plan. I'm going to get into action. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill myself. And then, we think that we have to work harder and work faster than we have strength and that we have time in our lives. And basically, consistency is the key. So it's setting up consistency. And so if you only have a couple hours a day, every day to build your business, or even if you only have, a half an hour a day, and you use that half an hour effectively and you get yourself in a good routine and being consistent with that, of course, a half an hour a day compared to, 5 hours a day, you're going to move more slowly in that amount of time, but you will move forward. And I was listening to Napoleon Hill. I get Earl Nightingale. I get him and Napoleon Hill mixed up. I was listening to Earl Nightingale this morning, The Strangest Secret, and he just was reminding me that a successful person, success is basically progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So it's just moving forward in, little steps, big steps. Sometimes we need the little steps. Sometimes we can take bigger steps and then go back to littler steps. Just as long as we're progressively working toward whatever goal it is that we desire to achieve, that's success. So we don't need to look at somebody who, goes from zero to millionaire in 24 months and feel like we have to be like them in order to be successful. Dave and I, we did it. It took 6 years for us to hit, millionaire, and it was just consistent actions, and it was little by little, and it was a lot of action. It was a lot of focus and never stopping that got us there. But it took 6 years. It wasn't 18 months. It wasn't, 24 months. And so some people do that, some people don't, and it all depends on life before Isagenix, the things that you've learned before, your own personal growth, the network you already have built up, and just a lot of different things come into play. So remembering, I just want to make sure everybody remembers, this isn't to compare yourself with other people. It isn't to push yourself faster than you have strength. It is to push yourself. It is to give yourself goals and to work toward them, and to make sure that you are allowing yourself to use your vision, use your why as your reason to do it, even when you don't want to, and especially when you don't want to. And being able to do things like that on a consistent basis, that's where success lies. So that's my purpose in facilitating this group, is just to help everybody feel okay with where you are, feel okay with where you want to go, and then push just a little bit, give you that person to lean on when you're needing some extra motivation, to give you that extra motivation to just do it anyway, even on the days when you would rather stay in bed, on the days you just don't feel like getting on the phone, the days when you're just really afraid to talk to people, and just finding a reason to do it anyway, because that is what's going to make the difference. If it's something that you really, really want, then you will do it no matter what. And that's something that I've learned for myself personally, and I can go from my own experience on that. But I promise you, if you push yourself to just step a little bit out of your comfort zone every single day and to do something that you don't want to do, you will achieve amazing things with just tiny little steps. So from there, I just wanted to go right to the book. So this week is preparation week. The actual 90-day action plan starts next Monday, I believe, on the 23rd. Is that Monday? Let me look. It starts on the 23rd, I know for sure. That is Monday. So this week is preparation week. So what they say to do, and if you have your book, it looks like this from NYKO. Go ahead and get it out, or look at it later if you're driving. Brittany, don't get it out. This book right here, if you don't have a copy, you can download it. I put a link on the Facebook group yesterday. I'll put it in m2mnews.info as well. But you just basically, you can go to isogenicsbusiness.com. There's an icon right at the top of the page. You click on there, and there's different links. You can download a copy of the book. You can order a copy if you'd rather have them print it and have it come spiral bound. They'll ship one to you. I don't know how much it costs. It's not that much. Or you can just download it and print it page by page. But this book is meant for us to fill out before the action plan starts next Monday. So there's a lot of different things that we need to commit to doing before we get started. This is preparing ourselves for success, setting ourselves up for success. So in the book, the first place I went, well, in just reading through, there's how to create your 90-day action plan, this first page. You can kind of look through it. But I turned to the action tab. So it's toward the end of the book, there's this action tab. I turned there, and first of all, you see a list of, this is Kathy Cooper's affirmations that she's done every day. Eric Cooper was saying, when he was little, he used to hear his mom yelling this at the top of her lungs, and he said, I thought she was a little bit crazy, but I just knew that that's what she was doing. He said, I don't think she's crazy anymore. And then she led us through this. She showed us how she does it, and then she had us repeat after her, and it was really powerful. And I'll also vouch for power statements and saying them out loud. I used to refuse to do it. I would tell people to do it and that it was a good idea, but for myself, I felt really stupid saying things out loud. And I didn't feel like some of the things that I wanted, I just felt really uncomfortable saying them out loud. It was like, how dare I think that I can, say that I'm powerful. And so I just talked myself out of it. I would write them down, and then I would close the book, and then I'd write them on another page another day and close the book. When was it? It's been about 6 months ago, I think. I committed to doing it out loud because I was at a place where I knew I needed to do it in order to go to a next level. So it was really uncomfortable for me, but I started doing this, and I felt something. So, and it's made a difference in my life. Like, I could go on and on, but that's not what this call is about. But I know for sure that this works. And so you can use Kathy's power statements and yell them out, or you can just say them quietly, but use it in your voice. There's something about, our body and our spirit, our thoughts, all of that is a system, and they work together. So by speaking, we're creating a vibration that actually connects with the thoughts that we're having. So if we're saying this, we're putting that into our thoughts, but we're also sending the vibration out. And these are high vibration words. And by doing that, it not only is telling our subconscious something that it's going to believe, it doesn't care what we tell it, it just does whatever we tell it. So the more we do it, the more confident we get in doing it, the more we begin to believe what we're saying, and the vibrations go out and they start bringing those equal vibrations back to us. So there's a lot of power in doing this, whether you write your own, whether you use Kathy's, or both. This is awesome. So I'm really happy that they put that in there. And then on the other side, so it's right on the very back of the action tab, here is a checklist of things that we all need to do before next week, before Monday, to really get in action. So the first thing is, it says to fill out your 90-day action plan workbook entirely. And then to set up your calendar and add action items. So from starting on page 7, I'm just going to show you really quick, and then I want to get some of your guys' input and feedback. But starting on page 7, you'll see, and I know this is small, but in green it has on different pages, it says action items. So look for those because it tells you an action step to take. So the first one is be clear on what you will accomplish by listing your action items here. So you'll see those all throughout, and I'll go back to page 7 in a second because it's really important. And this is what I wanted to talk about mostly today anyway, is on page 7. But then, so there's the action items, there's adding your core events, going through isagenixevents.com, noticing when the 4 events or the 4 core events are, and then finding a place in your calendar to go. It's really important to get to events. They emphasize it every time, and every single leader that spoke and that speaks at almost every single event says that their belief began when they went to an event, and then they continued to go to events, and that's what continued to push them and motivate them to go forward. And I know that's what happened with Dave and I too. I could tell you so many stories on how my belief was built every single time we went to an event. And still, I always think this company can't get more amazing. Every single event, I come home thinking, wow, this company just got even more amazing. The belief is huge, and the more you commit to being a part of the big group, the big culture, the more success you're going to have. So finding the 4 core events are celebrations. So that one, there's only one. You can't choose which one you want to go to. And NYKO, which we just had, but there's the one next January. There's UIA, which is University in Action. There are several of those throughout the year. I put a call out a while ago. I want to go to the one in Vancouver, British Columbia. And I thought it would be fun to have a huge presence of ISA Team M2M there. So that's in May. You don't have to go to that one, but I think it would be really fun to go as a team, just putting that out there. And the other one is ISAU, or Isagenix University, and that also has several. So those you can choose, you know, whatever works with your schedule, but I really recommend that you get to all 4 events if you possibly can throughout the year. And if not, get to Celebration. Celebration is going to be phenomenal this year. They have, if you didn't hear already, Tony Robbins will be there, and he's speaking for 3 hours on the last day. And we right now through Sunday, the tickets are at $199. People pay, you know, $1,200, $2,000 to hear Tony Robbins, and just included in the price of your ticket, you get to hear him for 3 hours. And he's like the leading personal development guru in the world. So it's way worth it just for that. After Sunday, they'll go up to $259, and they will sell out. They were half sold out by the last day of NYKO, and they had just barely announced it. So yeah, very exciting. Let's see, getting to know your back office. This is something that I'm learning to do more too. You know, Dave has mostly been the builder and I've been the supporter. And as I'm stepping into building and supporting team, and not just Dave more, I'm getting to know the back office. So that's been kind of fun for me. And I'll be doing some training videos as I learn back office. I'll just put some little videos in the group that kind of help guide you through. And you can continue to read through all of these checklists. But what I want to do now is go to page 7. And I would love for any of you, if you already know what your why is, if you know what your goal is, I would love you to state that, just to help other people who are still wondering, you know, what is my 90-day goal? And what is there's a personal goal and a business goal. And I like that they have both there, because being an Isagenix business builder, the best way to do that is to build your own story by being a product of the product. So if you have a personal goal, and it can be a health goal, it can be a fitness goal, it could even just be a personal development goal, but people are going to notice that you're changing, and they're going to want to know what you're doing, and it just makes you kind of a walking billboard for your business. So they work hand in hand. And then setting a business goal, like which rank would you like to achieve? Do you want to, you know, hit Crystal Executive? Whatever your personal goal is there a certain dollar amount you want to be earning by the time the 90 days is over? Is there a certain amount of people you want to enroll and get to consultant or get to executive? So what is it, your business goal? Is there anybody that has already filled that out that would like to share? And if so, just, I'm going to turn the gallery view so I can see. You can just raise your hand or just unmute yourself and call out what some of your goals are. For Dave and I, I'll just say, Dave and I, our goal is to reach 11-star and to also help as many people on our team rank advance as possible. I know we have a number, I don't remember what that is, but I think maybe 3 people rank advance on our team. I hear somebody's unmuted. Or did you want to speak? I don't see who it is.
That's me.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
I just have a minute before my daughter comes out of preschool here.
Okay.
Personally, I want to become a product. I'm committed to getting in the gym. I bought myself a gym membership, and really amplifying that. And then on my business side, I want to run to Crystal Executive in 90 days.
Nice. Those are awesome goals. And so I know you just have a minute, but do you have, is there a reason why those are your goals, number one?
Absolutely.
And also, is there, okay, tell me what those are first.
Well, my husband works 60 to 65 hours a week. Very stressful. I'm also I have 2 other businesses that I run. So with our 2 girls, just having him be home with us and be able to spend more time together, that's my why.
That's a huge why. And when you know, I wanted you to bring that up. I'm glad that you did and that you know what it was, because when you know what your why is and you know why that's your why, so your why was to, become executive in 90 days. That's your goal. And then you know why that you want that, to have your family be together. That's going to motivate you on those days when you're like, oh, I just don't feel like it. Or
Absolutely.
that chocolate cake looks better than the shake right now, or whatever it is. You're like, oh yeah, but I want my husband to come home, and to be with our family. And when you have that so deep inside of who you are, inside of your person, it's going to drive you to do that and to be that. And also reminding yourself every day. So if there's a way you can, put it on your phone to, during different times of the day to ring at you to remind you what your why is, or to put it around in sticky notes or all of the above. Maybe make your alarm your own voice telling you what your why is, just to help you remember. I think that would be really, I know that's a really powerful way to stay committed. So thank you, Brittany, for sharing that.
Thank you. I'll be right back.
Okay, awesome. Is there anybody else? I'm going to go ahead and mute you. I think I can. Yep, I can. All right. Is there anybody else that has a why and a goal that they want to share? Heather, you want to go ahead and unmute yourself and let us know?
Okay, so I worked on this with my husband last night. Our 90-day goal for our business is to be 1-star Crystal Director and to create 6 more consultants. Our why for that is so that we'll be able to have more family time in the evenings, so that Mike can be home by 5:30 instead of pushing himself to reach a certain quota for work, and so that we'll have the money to reduce debt and make our home more energy efficient. My personal is to release 10 pounds so that I can feel good in my clothes again.
Nice. Okay, Heather, so I'm going to ask you the same question. Like, what is behind that? I mean, I know you told us your goals. What's the why behind that? I mean, I know you said to have him home and whatever, but is there like is there something that like is going to make it non-negotiable on the days that it's hard for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my non-negotiables are multifaceted, but the biggest of it is so my husband's been without work he's been without a job for over 9 months now. And he's been working his own business from home. But prior to that, he was working 40 hours a week for his other employer, plus doing his side business just to try to make ends meet. And we would see him for about an hour a day, if that. And with my husband going back to work, he is going to be starting a new job hopefully this week or within the week. And so my goal for that, my why, is so that never happens again. So that we have him in the evening, so that we can actually be a family, because we've been so blessed to spend so much time together these last 9 months. And my why is to be able to continue to do that, to continue to build our family relationships so that we can work together, learn together, and play together. And that is what drives me every single day. So there's my...
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So there's reasons that I'm having people share. We're motivated by hearing each other's whys. It helps us to like, oh, wow, you know what? That sounds good to me too. And the thing about that is, there's power in a group. Accountability, for us to be able to know what Heather's why is, so that when Heather's having a bad day, she can reach out to the group and say, you know what, help me. We can remind her what her why is. So there's power in that. There's power in, hi Mike, there's power in us being able to feel that emotion in her. But the reason I ask the deeper question of why that's her why is because sometimes when we're in a group and we're listening to other people's whys, or we go to NYKO, or we're reading, about some leader and that leader and their why is this, and we're like, oh, okay, I'm going to make that my why because it obviously worked for her. And while that why is a good reason, and why, yeah, it's very inspiring, it doesn't really truthfully speak to who you are or who I am. I'll just put it first person. I might have or hear Susan Sly say that she wants to build schools for people in Africa. And I'm like, holy cow, that is an amazing goal. I think I'm going to make that my goal because it sounds like it's a great idea, and she's very successful. And when it gets hard, that's not going to help me go very far, because honestly, my heart of hearts, I think it's a good idea, it's amazing, but my why is something else. Something that drives my heart, that keeps me going no matter what, isn't schools in Africa. It's something else. It's being able to reach my family and to be able to touch them and to be able to show my family that they can do whatever it is that they want. And also other people that I can speak to them, I can show them that anything is possible, so that kind of thing gets me going, and that gets me emotional and gets me on fire. And so when I can relate my why to what turns me on, that lights my fire and gets me excited no matter what, and that makes me cry, like we just saw Heather have emotion there, then I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that, even when it's hard. So knowing what your why is and knowing why your why is your why, this is one of my platforms, is very important. And so I wanted just to hear, the difference in, Heather's initial why was powerful, but when we went deeper and we got to the emotion of it, did you guys feel the power behind that? So that's what I'm looking for. And that's what I feel will really help you guys as you're doing your own goals on page 7. So before I move on, is there anyone else that wants to share? I don't want to leave anyone out. Let's see. I don't see anyone. Okay, I think I see everyone on here and I don't see anyone raising their hand. If you guys decide later that you want to, just unmute your mic and speak up. So on page 7, it goes, so we have our personal goal, we have our 90-day business goal, and I'll just tell you, I'm going to hold myself accountable, as I've always been inspired by the IsaBody Challenge. It always gets me, teary, and then I come home and I enroll, and I've only completed 2 in 11 years, because there hasn't been a reason really behind it enough to keep me motivated to stick with it. This year at NYKO, it was I was still emotional, but it was like a different kind of emotional, and it spoke to me and told me that it's time for me to get my body strong. I'm not necessarily sure what the reason is, and that's something I'll evaluate, because when I felt that before, and I know that that's something, so I'm going to investigate exactly what that is. But so my reaching out to you so you guys can hold me accountable, as I entered the IsaBody Challenge this morning, and I am going to improve my strength. So I did performance and energy and performance for my entry. Anyway, so you guys are holding me accountable for that. I think that E, are you raising your hand? Do you want to unmute yourself and share with us? Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Yeah, sure. It's about the goals. For a long time, I actually sat wondering, I couldn't actually find that why. Like for the last 5 years, I've been looking for that why. And it was always somebody else's why for a long time, where I had my deeper thoughts and ideas of the masses I want to be eventually able to reach. But I always knew somewhere in my heart that the work is here. And it wasn't until just now, I don't know what just happened, but literally, I found it. It is to free myself and my kids from generational worthiness issues. I do a lot of energy work on myself and on my kids and friends and family. And it wasn't until all of this came to me that continuously through the generations, up to 29 generations past, it's all worthiness issues. All of mine, anything that I find, it all comes back down to self-worth and self-love. And I've been seeing it on paper because I'm writing these now, but it hasn't been a goal. It was like, oh, I'll never be able to release these things. It will be an ongoing thing forever and ever. And it's not like that at all.
Wow.
And I know it now. Last week I had a chance to go to somebody's house. It was their second week. It's going to be her second cleanse, and she was falling off the wagon. I went to her. This is somebody I enrolled. You guys, let me tell you this, okay? If you think that you can't enroll somebody, I enrolled a person who only speaks Spanish. I speak no Spanish. I spoke English. I used Google Translate. We sat there. She knew she needed it,
Wow.
but she couldn't tell me the why. Her why, initially, I kept asking why, right? And her why was, because I want to lose some pounds, because whatever. Eventually she said, oh, because I'm scared because my doctor told me that I should have a gastric bypass because I keep eating, she keeps eating tortillas. Okay, that's her thing. And she has diabetes. Doesn't really matter. I'm just saying, hey, just get healthy. Why don't you just change your meal? Add some greens. She wasn't eating any greens. It's been like this all her life. And I was like, okay, that's kind of a why, and that's how she started. But when I went again last week, I sat there and I said, oh my gosh, this came out of her. She said, you keep asking and you care so much. And you care so much that I want to cry, because you went out to ask for more information about my issues, my personal health issues, so that you can get kits sent to me in my language for things that you have no idea about. I said, yeah, well, it's free information. And if you didn't think to get it, I thought it would educate me, so I got it for myself, so I figured you could use it too. It's that simple. But that simple act, she was breaking down, and she said, my older sister died of the same thing. My father died of the same thing. My grandmother died of the same thing. I have 12 siblings left who are alive, and 9 of them have this thing too.
Wow.
And I said, wow, if it wasn't for being pulled because of the Isa family and all culture in this company to go after and say, hey, look, I can lend you a hand because I see you're falling off the wagon, and I can help because you obviously started this for the original why that she gave me. And here it is, and that whole drop of your heart where you're sitting there, you're seeing this happen to somebody, and you're like, what is my why? And you're sitting there asking yourself, where's mine? What have I been doing? And here it is. It's so clear. And when you can have that self-worth for yourself and that self-love, everything else in your life just aligns. And I know it. I've known it. I just haven't claimed it as mine until now. So I'm so happy for this call.
Wow. Thank you. So persistence. Yeah, that's awesome. Persistence in seeking for that why, it will continue to grow and clarify itself, right, E? Until it hits you just
for sure
the heart. So, if you don't know what that great big grand why is yet, that's okay. Just as long as you know right now what speaks to you. But just really take some time to think about it, because it's really going to make a difference. So anyway, and the only reason I mention that now is just because to remember to not compare ourselves with other people and just to do it for ourselves.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. And I think everybody can relate to the worthiness and self-love. So if no other reason but to prove yourself that you're worth it and that you can have, do, or be whatever you want to be, so that your kids will see it happening in front of their eyes, and so that they won't have to struggle as much as you've struggled. And I like to speak more in first person, so my kids don't have to struggle as much as I have struggled. If that's the only reason that you're doing it, go for it. And there's all kinds of, that might not speak to you. You may not have that struggle, but I know at least, if I feel that way, I know at least one other person does. So thank you, E, again, for sharing, and Lisa as well for sharing that you can relate to that. So finding that thing that makes you cry, or that, is drawing your heart as you're thinking of what your goal is. When you find your reason, honestly, this is the core to completing and to realizing that worthy ideal. Then it says to discover what it is that's holding you back. What is it in the past, if you've done any kind of goal setting, whether it's been in Isagenix or in anything else, and you haven't completed it, you haven't continued to move forward, what was it? What's holding you back? There's some things they suggest here, like, is it watching too much TV? Is it spending too much time on Facebook? Is it wanting the chocolate cake instead of the shake? You know, eating poorly, having your pantry full of junk food, is that making it hard for you to go for your health goals? You know, what are you going to eliminate? What distractions can you get rid of? What excuses can you get rid of that are going to help you move forward instead of either stay stuck or actually go backward? So that's also a powerful thing. And I've created worksheets for a lot of these different things. If anybody is wanting help finding their why, if they're wanting help knowing exactly what it is that's holding you back. But basically, when you know what you want and then you realize, I've wanted this for a while and I still don't have it, so why? It's that thing that you don't want to do. Most often, that is that thing that is either a distraction or it's a fear that's holding you back. So once you really recognize, you know, it's like, I don't want to make phone calls, I want to go watch my show. Then you're like, oh, okay, that's it right there, my show. So I can either DVR it and give myself a reward after I make my calls to go on Saturday or Sunday and watch my show. You know, give yourself a reward instead of letting it be your distraction. Or on Facebook, you know, set different times during the day that you can be on Facebook, set an alarm so when it goes off, you're done. Whatever it is, you don't have to like completely restrict yourself, because that's just going to come back. You know, what we resist persists. So finding a way to make it move out of your way in a flowing way and in a way that feels good, so that you're going to continue to move forward. So getting rid of your distractions doesn't necessarily mean you can never eat chocolate cake again. It just means maybe once a week, or maybe, you know, a half a slice a month, or whatever it is that works for you. For me, it's birthdays. I go for it. Holidays. Other than that, I stay away from, most of the time, I stay away from the sugar and things, because I know I have an addiction and it totally can keep me away from my goals if I allow myself to lean into that instead of lean away from them. So figuring out what those are and then choosing what you're going to do instead. Like, what can I do instead of watch TV? I can make my contact list. I can organize my workspace. I can find a workspace. I can, you know, make my phone calls. I can, you know, there's a lot of different things that you can do. One thing that I used to do, I didn't always work in Isagenix. I had another business before, and I would just set goals that would say, I'm going to talk to 3 people every single day. And sometimes it would be 9 o'clock at night and I hadn't done it yet. So then I just made myself get up and go to Walmart, because it was open 24 hours, and find 3 people to talk to. And I didn't have to talk to them about my business. I just had to talk to 3 people. I had to connect with 3 people and hopefully maybe exchange information, which is so easy nowadays with Facebook and with smartphones. You just hand the phone and friend each other right there, right? So it doesn't have to be, hey, I want to sell you Isagenix because I can see that you need to lose weight. That doesn't do much good. But just making a connection and then following up with the connections in the future times. So if you just set a goal to make it non-negotiable, so it's 10 o'clock at night and I still haven't talked to my 3 people, get out the door and go. You know, that kind of a thing is where you're going to hold your own self accountable, and that's where you're going to move forward. So filling out your book is your goal for the week. I would love to check in with our little chat group. If you're not a part of the chat group, let me know. Just message me, or you can message me even on here. And I'm going to read some of these comments here in just a second. But if you're not a part of the group that I made to, like, it's just our accountability group where you can say, okay, hey, I filled out my why. You can even tell us what your why is if you want to, or just let us know you've done it. You can let us know I'm having a problem filling out page 11. I'm just choosing a number. You know, help me with that. What have you guys done? That kind of a thing. And then we can also do it, you know, in ICT M2M. I'll do videos in there as well. And I just wanted to ask you guys, before I read these comments, 2 questions. Number 1, do you think 1 Zoom call a week is good, or should we do more than that? You can chat, or you can unmute and tell me what you think. And the other question is, I have several people that said 10 o'clock doesn't work for them, which is fine. If we have enough people on, I can record it and they can watch the recording. But would an evening or a later afternoon be better for anyone, or is this time okay? Tuesday at 10. 1 is good, or later is better for you? Okay. That's one person. I'll ask the question. I'm going to have you guys also complete that, or answer that in the chat group, because people that watch it in the recording can also comment. And by the end of today, I will decide whether or not we keep it Tuesday at 10 or whether we move it forward. Once a week is good. Oh, okay. 1 a week is good. Okay, completely open to the time. Later is better. All right. So once a week, I feel is good too for a Zoom call. I don't want to give everybody like a distraction, right, by having a phone call instead of giving you time to be in action. So once a week, I think is great, and doing the chat in between. I just really encourage everyone to be active in the chat. If you want to reach out to the whole group, or if you don't feel comfortable reaching out to the whole group, reach out to me. You can message me on Facebook, and I'm pretty active and pretty, I don't like having notifications on my phone. It drives me crazy. So I have to look at them and I have to answer them. It's just my own little OCD thing. All right. Let's see. People are excited for Celebration. Tony Robbins. There's people thanking Heather and Lisa and Eve for sharing. Yeah, the worthiness and self-love thing. Fear of failure and fear of success are both very real. I think that fear of success is really, when you think about it, it's like, why? That's so funny. But I know that that's been my fear. We're afraid of our power, like Marianne Williamson says, in a lot of reasons. So the double-edged crazy sword thinking, fear of failure. So don't try fear of success and having to change my life from this current comfort zone. Both keeps me in the same place. Yeah. If instead of focusing on the fear, just focus on the goal, right? And there's things we can do to overcome the fear, but we can talk about that another time. Okay, Lisa's committed to talk to 3 people a day, and Walmart, yes, is one of the places to go. I mean, there's all kinds of people in Walmart, and yeah, and it's always open. So, all right, earlier is better for some people, later is better for some people. Some people are open to the time. So we'll just ask in the chat again about that, and I'll make a decision by the end of today. So that's all I have for today. I mean, I guess our goal for the week is just to fill out this book and to be ready. I wanted to really quick point you out again to the calls on Thursday. That Isagenix is doing calls to help set off the action plan. And you need to go to, I put the link, but I think it's isagenixbusiness.com, then go to the 90-day game plan. And then there's a tab that talks about the kickoff call. And there's different regions that are at different times, but they're all on Thursday. So I know my region, the Northwestern region, is 7:30 on Thursday, but some of them, like the Hispanic market, is in the morning. So it's all day long. So go on, find out when your call is, put it on your calendar, and choose to be on the call, because a kickoff from the company can only be amazing, right? And you'll probably get a lot of great information relevant to your area that you're in. So anyway, any other questions or comments before we sign off? Anything? Again, too, let me know what it is that you need. And you can let me know via Messenger. Like if you all of a sudden are like, oh, I have an idea of what would help me, let me know. I mean, you might not know everything right now. I know that I think always in arrears. So anyway, thank you so much for being on. Oh, I have 21 new contacts from the Women's Expo I need to follow up on. Yes, follow up. That's where the fortune is, you guys. We make our contacts, but it's in the follow-up that we make the fortune. So yes, follow-up is very important. Thank you for pointing that out. And I will see all of you guys next week and in the chat in the meantime. To all of our success, here we go, as one. What do you say? 1, 2, 3, Isagenix. All right. Thanks, everyone. See you later.